Hello everyone, welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today we're going to be talking about some NBA DFS picks for both FanDuel and Draft Kings. But before we get into it, we'll talk about yesterday's results real quick. So on the Draft Kings side, we had Corey Joseph, $3,900. We were looking for about 20 points out of him. He got us to 22, so that was a hit. And then next up we had Fred VanVleet, $7,900. We were looking for 39.5, 40 out of him. Got to 39.75. Kyle Lowry didn't play in this game. Looking for a little bit more from him, but it was still a hit regardless. Just we were hoping for a little bit more overall. OG Anunoby, $6,000. He got to about 21.75 points, so that was definitely a miss. Not too much else you can say there. Some of the value that opened up throughout the day, you could probably pivot it off him though. Then Marvin Bagley, $4,800, looking for about 24 fantasy points out of him. He got 36.5. He only played 24 minutes in this game, so pretty good day for him overall. Hassan Whiteside, $4,600, looking for 23 fantasy points out of him. Only got to 16.5, so that was definitely a miss there. I don't think he played quite as much as I thought he was going to play last night. Bielitsa and Bagley were playing pretty well, so that kind of limited his playing time a little bit as well. And they were behind in that game too. Then on the FanDuel side, De'Aaron Fox, $8,300, looking for about 42 fantasy points out of him. Only got 29.8, so that was definitely a miss. Figured he'd have to score the ball more. Didn't really happen. Then Dante DiVincenzo, once again, our boy paid off. $5,100. You're looking for 25, 26 fantasy points out of him. 27.4, definitely a hit there. LeBron James, $10,500. We're looking for about 53 fantasy points out of him. He got 49.1, so he was a miss. Probably didn't kill you, but he didn't help you either at the same time. Marvin Bagley, kind of already talked about on the DraftKings side, but on FanDuel, $5,200, looking for 26 fantasy points. He got 33 over there, so he was a hit. Then DeAndre Jordan, $5,400. He's looking for about 27 fantasy points out of him. Only got 18.6. Didn't end up starting last night, and then that game kind of turned into a little bit of a blowout as well. But with that being said, we'll get over to the injury page. Kind of talk about the notable injuries in play for today. For the Nuggets, we got Gary Harris, PJ Dozier, Paul Millsap out once again. Will Barton's questionable, probably not going to play. JaMychal Green, he does have a little tag next to him for the game time decision, but he is probable, so he's likely to play. On the Cavs side, pretty much the only new one we have is Taurean Prince, and that's what we had the last time as well. So Cedi Osman's likely to start again. He's probably going to be a good value once again. Not very priced up on either site yet. For Golden State, we're mainly looking at Draymond's Green injury here. He was a late scratch last time with an ankle injury. If he doesn't play, they started Mulder last time, but he only played 14 minutes. Ken Bazemore was the primary beneficiary, even though he was coming off the bench. Then for the Orlando Magic, Fournier, he still has a game time decision next to him. I assume he plays since he did play the last time. Ennis is kind of questionable. Then the rest is the same as it's been. For the Hawks, pretty much the same as we've been looking at. They did get Tony Snell back the last game, so he's going to be playing once again. Boston Celtics side, we're just really looking at Jaylen Brown, seeing if he plays or not today. Game time decision. If he doesn't play, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker definitely get a bump up. Whoever starts in his place probably gets a bump up as well. And then they do get Daniel Tice back as well today, so bumps him up. It kind of bumps Tristan Thompson and Robert Williams down a little bit. And then for the Bulls are exact same as the last time out. 76ers on the opposite. Ben Simmons probably going to play in this one. He did miss that last time. Shake Milton looks like he might actually play this time. Just keep your eye out on that one. The Suns just don't have injuries apparently, so kind of nice for them to see since they had about 3 or 4 guys that were out for a couple games as well. And then that Pelicans, Steven Adams, he did have the back issue heading into the last game. Then he hurt his ankle now. Probably not going to play tonight. Willie Herman-Gomez, assumingly, takes over in that starting lineup. They did play a little bit of small ball the last game, it looked like, too. So don't be surprised if Josh Hart plays a little bit more as well. Oklahoma City, they really just have George Hill out now. I mean, Trevor Ariza hasn't played all year, but they're pretty much back to full health now. And then for Milwaukee, Drew Holiday, still don't think he plays in this one. For the Pistons are pretty much exactly the same. Sekou is going to be a game time decision once again. Then on Memphis' side, we got DeAndre Melton, game time decision. Probably not going to play. Dylan Brooks, game time decision. He's kind of up in the air whether or not he's going to play. If he doesn't play, Grayson Allen, Desmond Bane, who's back now, are both in play. For the Raptors, we have, Kyle Lowry was the only one we're really looking at. he's probably not going to play in this game. So Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, they get a bump up once again. Pascal Siakam. Bembry is a cheap play over on DraftKings once again if you want to go that route. Didn't quite pay off yesterday, but he did get the minutes. Then, for the Timberwolves, it's the exact same as the last time. Culver and Russell still out. Utah, Mike Conley is questionable. They do have him penciled in right now, so just keep an eye out on that one. The last game of the night, not really trying to get to him or some of these guys either way, though. Then for the Clippers, Paul George questionable, Kawhi Leonard questionable, and Nick Batum questionable as well. Luke Kennard is in the mix as well. So definitely keep an eye out on that one. There could potentially be some value here, but that last game of the night, it's hard to get to, especially if it doesn't work out that way. But with that being said, these are all the notable injuries for today that we're looking at. Once again, throughout the day, make sure you're keeping track of the news. I will be posting down in the comments as soon as I hear news as it comes out. Then we'll get moved over to DraftKings. So at point guard, I got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, $8,200. You're looking for about 41 fantasy points. That's what he's been averaging. Coming back off the injury, hasn't really had a minutes restriction. If this game stays competitive at all, I really like him. The only concern is if this turns into a blowout and they take him off the floor. Garrett Temple, shooting guard, $4,000. Been playing over 30 minutes a game pretty much the last 4 games. He's been starting. Been playing relatively well. You just need 20 points out of him. I think he gets you that pretty easily in this one. As small forward, we're going to go with Bembry. If he starts again, if he's getting 30 minutes, he should get you enough to pay off. You're only looking for about 16 fantasy points out of him. If you can get 18, 20 out of him, it's really going to set your lineup ahead for almost that minimum price tag. Then power forward, we got Pascal Siakam, $7,700, looking for about 38, 39 fantasy points out of him, averaging 41 on the year. This is a pretty good matchup against the Timberwolves. No Kyle Lowry. Should be a very good game for him once again. Then last but not least, center position, Willie Herman-Gomez. Likely no Steven Adams. We saw what he did last time, and it was awesome. If he's getting the minutes, if he's getting the playing time, he is a good player when he's on the court. And, you're only looking for about 20 fantasy points out of him. And I think he gets you that pretty easily in this matchup. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 guys, you have $23,100 left over, about $7,700 per player. Definitely a lot of money there left over that you can spend up for a guy, spend down for a guy, mix and match here and there. It's definitely a good problem to have. But with that being said, these are my picks for DraftKings for today. So we're going to get moved over to the FanDuel side now. And on the FanDuel side, we got point guard Ja Morant. And he's $7,100. You're looking for about 35, 36 fantasy points out of that. He's been playing lights out lately. Likely no Dylan Brooks in this game. I think he gets you to 40 fantasy points pretty easily against a Detroit team that's not very good overall. But they have been competitive in games, so I don't think this is going to end up being a blowout or anything like that. So I do really like Ja Morant a lot in that case. Grayson Allen, also on Memphis. $4,700. Him and Desmond Bane are both in play here if Dylan Brooks doesn't play. You're looking for 23, 24 fantasy points. Brooks isn't in. He's not taking them shots. So it's going to open up a little bit more volume for whether it's Grayson Allen or Desmond Bane. In this case, we're going with Grayson Allen. Then at small forward, we're going back to Cedi Osman. $4,200, looking for 21 fantasy points. That's just what he's averaging on the season. There's no Taurean Prince. Andre Drummond's not playing. He's going to be on the court. He's going to have minutes, and he's going to produce. That's just what he does when he gets the minutes, and I'm not afraid of playing him. I think he's a great play over on FanDuel. I think he's a fair play on DraftKings as well. You're probably going to get 25 fantasy points out of him rather easily. We've seen that 30-point plus upside out of him in the past as well. Then at power forward, we're looking at Jason Tatum. $9,400, looking for 47 fantasy points out of him. He went over 50 the last game. If Jaylen Brown doesn't play, it's definitely going to help him out. Matchup against Atlanta, it's a pace-up spot. I'm not afraid of them on defense. I think Jason Tatum is going to be able to do pretty much whatever he wants in this game as long as he's feeling it. Then at the center position, I'm going to go with Joel Embiid in this case. You could go with Nikola Jokic as well. You could go with Nikola Vucevic. You could go with Karl Anthony Towns. There's lots of good options for center today. Joel Embiid, there's not too much else you can say about him. He's a monster. And when he puts his mind to it, nobody's stopping him. And, a Wendell Carter Jr. that's 2 games back from injury is not going to stop him. After Wendell Carter, Daniel Gafford, Thaddeus Young, they're not going to be able to stop him at all. So I would not be surprised, if this is a 55 or more point game for Joel Embiid. And, for his price tag, I think he's definitely worth it. But if you go with these 5 guys over on FanDuel, you have $24,300 left over, just over $6,000 per player. Kind of mix and match like I always say. Pay up for some guys, find some value as it opens up throughout the day. But with that being said, these are my picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel for today, February 19th. As always, if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. Definitely be glad to help you guys out as well. Want to see you do very well in NBA DFS today and every day. But once again, I will be putting all the news as it comes out throughout the day down in the comments. Be listing the starting lineups there as well. So if there's anything major coming out, that's the place to go. You're going to find it right there. But with that being said, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. It really helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And that's really one for you, the viewers. Trying to help you guys with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL. Trying to help you with your fantasy football, covering all the football news that as it comes out this offseason. And as we move into baseball season, we'll be covering some fantasy baseball and some baseball news as well. But with that being said, if you're a new or current subscriber is yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, NBA DFS picks every single day. And then going to be throwing some fantasy football videos up as well. But with that being said, that's all I got for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Hopefully you all do very, very well in DFS tonight. Once again, if you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask me. I'm definitely here to help you guys out. And I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.